I mean, I spoke to someone this weekend who you would say is definitely a prominent Starmerite, if you will, very loyal to Starmer, still at the current point, and they have said they're now ready to come out, but they want to come out and it be the knockout blow. They're all biding their time, essentially.
Serve at the highest level of government was a privilege, not for the title or the office, but for the chance to change the lives of the people I grew up with and live alongside.
Slippery Starmer will be deposed as the Prime Minister of the Disunited Kingdom within months, and he will go down as the most unpopular leader in our history. What's coming, though, is an inevitable move to communism and Islamism under Red Rayner, a disgraced tax cheat imbecile, as the desperate left make their last throw of the dice. It's happening because they have nothing left. And that means we're all going to have to deal with the consequences. Even Starmer knows the game is up, though. Just look at the McLaren staff behind our Prime Minister today, who were literally falling asleep in despair, horrified as they watched this uninspiring globalist puppet ramp on about the father, who he actually hated, by the way. Seriously, like, can we all just remember Starmer hated his dad? He's admitted it. And he doesn't seem to realise that the toolmaker shtick became a national punchline months ago.
My dad was an apprentice. He went to night school. He was a toolmaker, a skilled toolmaker. And so, but being an apprenticeship is an equally good thing to do. That's what my dad did, and he was a highly skilled engineer and toolmaker.
And then he welcomed his Ukrainian bum in with the sort of hug you could have never imagined him giving to Donald Trump. Indeed, I couldn't actually imagine him giving this type of hug to his poor estranged wife, let alone any patriotic Brit who wants this goddamn money pit of a corrupt war to end. But of course, this was just a temporary reprieve, the Starmer a photo op, because the coup against him is now in full force. I don't think he even cares. He knows the game is up. These are the conversations Labour forces are now having amongst themselves.
All the time. Is there any other conversation in town? When does he go and who replaces him?
That's it. I mean, I spoke to someone this weekend who you would say is definitely a prominent Starmerite, if you will, very loyal to Starmer, still at the current point, and they have said they're now ready to come out, but they want to come out and it be the knockout blow. They're all biding their time, essentially, and what you'll get is more and more. We've seen Barry Gardiner become more confident over recent weeks in saying he has to go. We've had the usual suspects of the Socialist Campaign Group. We had Kyle Turner last night, who isn't a usual suspect, who's manoeuvred from...
MP.
Yeah, who's very much against the end of jury trials, to now going, the operation is bad.
Even Starmer's closest allies are turning. We saw confirmation there, and we also have confirmation today from the Establishment Times newspaper that revealed the influential think tank that ran Slippery Starmer's leadership campaign, canvassing party members on candidates to replace him. The Times reports it is the clearest sign yet that the Labour Party is preparing for a change of Prime Minister. Labour Together, the campaign group once run by Morgan McSweeney, Starmer's chief of staff, this weekend asked activists for their views on contenders for the leadership. A survey sent to local Labour parties seen by the Times prompted members to name the politicians who stood the best chance of leading Labour to electoral victory at the next election, compared with Starmer, and to rank those that they would be likely to vote for in a leadership election. Now, 8 senior Labour politicians were named. There were the 5 cabinet ministers: Wes Streeting, Shabana Mahmood, Bridget Phillipson, Ed Miliband, and Darren Jones. But Labour Together also listed Angela Rayner, the former Deputy Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Greater Manchester, and Lucy Powell, recently deposed from the Cabinet but now Deputy Leader of the Labour Party. And guess who? Guess who is going to be ushered in by the Labour hard left to number 10 Downing Street? Well, it's this woman. A literal tax cheat who will make our country a laughingstock and bring further economic catastrophe. But the left has now decided that she is their woman, given the only other choice is Ed Miliband, who remains a favourite with the dwindling bunch of madmen and women who are crazy enough to remain Labour Party members. By the way, isn't it appalling that what should have been a total resignation from public life, Angela Rayner should never, ever even be an MP again after her tax evasion, but it was actually the start of a comeback. Watch. Okay, half of you watching this are not subscribed to Dan Wootton Outspoken, and the best way you can support what we do is by hitting that subscribe button. It is completely free, and turn on the notification bell to be alerted to our new episodes.
When I made my maiden speech over a decade ago, I said it was the honour of my life to represent Ashton-under-Lyne in this House. And alongside serving in this historic Labour government, it is still the honour of my life. I promised then to bring determination, commitment and my socialist values to this House while representing them, and I intend to continue doing so. My title may have changed, but the strength and the character of the people of my constituency have not. But I've always believed in the highest standards of transparency and accountability. And it is what the public expects, and it is the price we pay for the privilege of service. To serve at the highest level of government was a privilege, not for the title or the office, but for the chance to change the lives of the people I grew up with and live alongside.
She was shaking like a leaf because she knows that she shouldn't be there. But Rayner's comeback has now included rejecting a pact with Wes Streeting to serve as his Deputy Prime Minister, or an offer by Starmer to return to Cabinet as Education Secretary. Yes, that's right. Our Angie, lovely Angie, who thinks all Tories are scum, is able to plot until her heart is content as she plans to pounce after Labour's inevitable wipeout in the May local elections, with her entering Downing Street in the autumn of 2026. As the Mail on Sunday reported, Sir Keir Starmer is so concerned about a leadership challenge from Angela Rayner that he has offered her the Education Secretary's job. Allies of Miss Rayner say the PM is desperately trying to persuade the former deputy, who resigned in September, to return to his cabinet in a bid to shore up his position. Keir's aides are said to have privately suggested she could be handed back her old job of Housing Secretary, or even given the education brief currently held by Bridget Phillipson in a reshuffle next year. The revelation comes after it emerged that allies of House Secretary Wes Streeting are pressing Ms Rayner to sign up to a joint ticket for the Labour leadership, dubbed Wangela. That's not going to catch on, with the offer of a return to the Deputy PM position if she threw her support behind him. But sources said Ms Rayner is resisting both approaches and is instead preparing her own bid for number 10 after what will likely be catastrophic local election results for Labour in May. Ms Rayner's supporters believe she will be cleared by an HMRC inquiry, which it is claimed will find she made an inadvertent error over the stamp duty payment on her £800,000 apartment. Oh, just an inadvertent error, Angie, to the tune of 40,000 quid, right? Ms Rayner said to be furious at Downing Street for not doing more to back her during the tax controversy, in contrast to the support given to Rachel Reeves after the Daily Mail revealed she had broken the law by renting out her home without the correct licence. In that case, the PM said there was no need for further action over the Chancellor's inadvertent error. Now, the mad left are actually killing each other, okay? Killing each other. And it is in a large part because of the tit whisperer, the even more mad tit whisperer, the leader of the Green Party, who is outflanking Labour on the left, and I think will soon hit the top of the polls as Labour support plummets. Even, by the way, as Zach Polanski appears to advocate for political violence alongside that other utter lunatic, Femi Olawale. Watch.
I know a friend of mine who lives in a town where he and his wife are the only people who aren't white on that street. And as a result of the riots, he now travels around with a certain item in his car to make sure that he can protect himself. because as a result of those riots, knowing that if you stepped outside, somebody could come at you simply because of the color of your skin. When you're watching black people get jumped in parks, an Asian man being pulled out of his car in Hull, for Nigel Farage and his party to fully embrace those people, Lee Anderson to say, those people aren't far right, they're just fed up, and Nigel Farage to go on stage with somebody who called for asylum seekers to be burned alive. They have said, we are on the side of the rioters. So if they get into power, given the clear racism within that party, anybody who isn't Snow White is on the chopping block. This is, for me, a survival issue for a lot of ethnic minority people.
Oh, shut up, Femi, you utter loser and liar. I mean, he was clearly suggesting there, right, that it was okay for non-whites to arm themselves. And the fact the MSM is not scrutinising Polanski at all, while continuing deranged attempts to destroy Nigel Farage, tells you all you need to know. This is how.
And can I ask a
Zach
nuanced
responded.
question? So, first of all, acknowledging all of that, I mean, it's grim and it's worrying. And when Lee Anderson says these people are fed up, there's no excuse for racism. People are fed up. And to be able to balance the nuance between the causes of austerity, the lack of communities, the lack of integration that is often a result of the fact that there is no physical community spaces for people to integrate into. How do we find a way of navigating this conversation that doesn't for a second give an inch to this idea that people are fed up and that's why they're racist, but also does recognise that, I would argue, people are fed up and that is fueling racism, which are two different points?
So I was thinking, all right, people are going with Nigel Farage, maybe these people are all racist. And then it took me, especially throughout the course of the Brexit campaign, visiting areas of the country that voted for Brexit and realizing that it was primarily around poverty. People were desperate for change, and the two main parties were not offering that change. I do understand the concept of people being desperate. I do understand the people of losing faith in Keir Starmer and the Tories, because I have no faith in them either. But I'm not voting Farage. I'm joining the Green Party. I do want different, but different doesn't mean racist.
Oh, good luck. You know Zach Polanski, you know his real name isn't even Zach or Polanski. His name is David Dave. He's a total fake, but he is a threat. And the fact the MSM is not scrutinising Dave, I think tells you everything you need to know. Meanwhile, the world looks on in abject horror at what is happening here in the United Kingdom, with the White House warning of civilization erasure, thanks to the suicidal empathy of European leaders like Starmer and Elon Musk posting this meme, which I think we all know is the truth, right? Look at this. Free speech has not been banned in the UK, and we will arrest anyone who says it has. The White House Undersecretary of State Sarah Rogers posted, "I'm traveling in Europe on a diplomatic passport, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to say a few things ordinary Europeans," but then critically, look, she added, "and Brits can't." Watch.
I got off my European train and checked into my European hotel and noticed that a member of European Parliament called Helmut Brandstätter tweeted, quote, "There's no censorship in Europe. Everyone has to follow our rules." Well, I'm traveling here on a diplomatic passport, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to say a few things that ordinary Europeans can't by revisiting some remarks for which people in Europe and also the UK have been investigated or arrested or jailed by their governments over the past few years. So, as I tweeted a few moments ago, a German woman notoriously received a harsher jail sentence than a convicted rapist after the woman called the rapist, quote, "a disgraceful pig." This was after he participated, along with several other disgraceful pigs, in the gang rape of a 15-year-old girl in a public park. Similarly, a British woman was dragged out of her bath by 11 police officers after she referred in a private text message to a man who allegedly violently assaulted her as, quote, "a f***it."
And while Starmer might lie that the UK has had free speech for a very long time, what explains this kangaroo court and, to be frank, totally dystopian sentencing of Joey Barton today, who received the same jail sentence as Huw Edwards? 6 months, suspended for 18 months, meaning he won't actually go behind bars like Edwards. But remember, Huw Edwards, notorious BBC paedophile. Joey Barton wrote some mean tweets about the broadcaster Jeremy Vine and TV football pundits Lucy Waugh and Eni Aluko. You've actually got to watch this sentencing to believe it. But first, we've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now, one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. He says they hardly make a dent on your appearance. Some can even be harmful to your skin. Now, recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices. Why? Well, so that he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. He says it's almost like Photoshop for your face, and you may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view. His personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. In light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public, free and uninterrupted, where he outlines exactly how to use this simple solution from home. And he says if it even helps one person look younger or feel more confident, he will be thrilled knowing he helped. The video has since gone viral. At first, it was shared by users on Facebook, but since then, it's racked up over 2.3 million views and counting. So far, the comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One viewer commented, "Best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you." So you can find out more about this yourself right now. Go to bhmd1.com/outspoken or click on the link in the description box below. That's bhmd1.com/outspoken. Now, there is one thing that Dr. Lake asks from his viewers. If watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones. Together, we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. So go watch the video at bhmd1.com/outspoken right now, or just click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show.
Given the gravity, persistence and impact of this offending, I have no doubt that neither a fine alone nor a community order can be justified, and that the custody threshold is crossed. There will be concurrent terms of imprisonment for each of these associated offences, the sentences for each reflecting your overall offending and recognising the principle of totality. However, applying the imposition guideline and carrying out the required balancing exercise, I'm satisfied that it's not necessary for those custodial terms to be served immediately. In light of the steps you have taken, I am persuaded that there is some prospect of rehabilitation, that an immediate custodial sentence is not required to protect either the public or the victims, and that a suspended sentence order may itself operate as a deterrent against any future offending by you. For each of these offences, I impose a suspended sentence order of 18 months duration. On counts 2 and 4, the racially aggravated offences, there will be custodial terms of 6 months, and on counts 6, 8, 9 and 10, custodial terms of 4 months, all such terms to run concurrently, and all suspended for a period of 18 months. If during that 18-month period you commit any further offence, whether or not of the same type, you will be brought back before the court, and it is likely that you will be required to serve some or all of that total 6-month period. That, of course, is not an end of the matter. For the next 12 months, you will be subject to a rehabilitation activity requirement of up to 20 days, and you are required to complete 200 hours of unpaid work in the community.
Can you believe that? That was the judge sentencing Joey Barton for some spicy posts on X, treating him like an axe murderer, treating him like, well, let's be honest, worse than a paedophile, worse than Huw Edwards, who, can I just remind everyone, didn't have his sentencing broadcast to the whole country. And let's be honest, any of us who are now concerned about mass immigration are being branded a danger to children. Shocking, horrifying new reporting from the Daily Telegraph today, revealing a former Royal Marine has been banned from working with children after he protested against illegal migrants. Free speech campaigners said spurious safeguarding concerns were increasingly being deployed to silence people with patriotic views in a scandalous abuse of the system. One campaign group has identified more than a dozen cases in which laws intended to keep children safe from harm from adults are being used to crack down on right-wing views. Concerns have intensified over the treatment of Jamie Michael. He is an Army war veteran who has been barred from coaching his daughter's football team. That's because the bloke from South Wales was charged with inciting racial hatred after describing some migrants as scumbags and psychopaths in a 12-minute video posted on Facebook following the murders of 3 children in Southport, the Southport massacre I call it. He was cleared by a jury after just 17 minutes, but his local safeguarding board, which is responsible by law for protecting vulnerable children, has ruled that he is not suitable to work with youngsters. This is sick. This is chilling. This is Starmer's Britain. And he might well be gone soon. But trust me, under Angela Rayner, Red Rayner, our problems are just beginning. Now, the Superstar Panel. And it is so brilliant to have Susan Hall, leader of the London Conservatives, and Lauren Lunn-Farrow of Lauren the Insider on YouTube with me today. Lauren, let's kick off with Angela Rayner, because this coup attempt now is so brazen and so public, the game is almost up for slippery Starmer.
But the nightmare continues, the Christmas nightmare. Just when you think it can't get worse, it can get worse. And Angela Rayner as well, the £40,000 that she avoided paying in tax. I just want to point out, a junior nurse, the starting salary would be £28,000. They make out like this isn't a lot of money, like, oh, it was a mistake. This people go to work 365 days a year in some cases to earn that money. They have second jobs. These people do not care about us. They don't care about equality. They don't care about normal people. They live in a bubble with their very dangerous think tanks that are not in tune with the people. These are the very people that don't give a damn about our children's safeguarding. We've got no movement on the grooming gang inquiry. This has been since the summer. These people are just giving word salad. They care about their egos and their bank accounts.
Susan Hall, can you believe that Angela Rayner, a tax cheat, a proven tax cheat, has been rehabilitated within weeks to the point where Labour bigwigs have now decided that she is going to replace Starmer? What does that say about the corruption, not just of this party, but of our entire system?
Well, unfortunately, Dan, I can believe it, because if you look at the front bench, if you look at the cabinet, show me any one of them that would be capable of running the country. They're all absolutely horrific. If you look at, you've got Miliband, who's an eco nut, who's costing us all a complete fortune. You've got, I mean, David Lammy is nothing but an embarrassment. And of course, Angela Rayner is exactly the same. She's a complete and utter embarrassment. And we wonder why the things that they've put in place are damaging businesses. Well, not one of the cabinet has ever run a business. They don't know how business works. And I know lots of people say, oh, the Conservatives are just for business. If you don't look after the money, you cannot look after those that need money, those that are disabled, those that are genuine claimants. As it is, money is going out the door quicker than they can get it in. The few of us that are working, and that will become less and less, are having to pay for a ballooning welfare bill. I mean, the whole thing is a complete and utter mess. And if we end up with Rayner, we're in even more trouble, as you quite rightly said, as both of you have said. She hasn't got a clue how things work. I know, I think you're right. And it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
I thought for quite some time that the plot was for Shabana Mahmood to become the first Muslim Prime Minister, but a decision has been made now by the left of the Labour Party that Rayner is their woman, and her resistance to go back into the cabinet is the reason behind that. Now, Lauren, of course, at the same time today, Starmer's giving that big hug to Zelensky, you know, his boy Zelensky, while Joey Barton is being sentenced in the most dystopian manner, Lauren, for having sent a few inappropriate, in the opinion of the deep state, I mean, I thought they were funny tweets, and his sentence is the same as Huw Edwards, the paedophile. And no one seems to have a problem with this. There's no outrage about this in the mainstream media. We have no free speech.
We have no free speech, but also the mainstream media, you know, we talk about Huw Edwards. Fine, they did out the story, but how long have the mainstream media covered for people that committed crimes like Huw Edwards? Let's talk about that. They are so unbelievably toxic. And then Joey Barton, they want to make an example of him. You know, obviously the court is televised. And this is a very clear warning that if you do not fall in line with the deep state, if you air an opinion that falls outside the narrative, this will happen to you. I mean, Dan, at this point, it is a miracle I've not been arrested because, you express any form of opinion and you've got the deep state trying to, you know, find a new Lucy Connolly or trying to, you know, make examples of people. And this is bullying. This is harassment of patriots. We are being muzzled, and gagged. It's unbelievable. In 2025, this is happening.
I mean, Susan Hall, that sentencing of Joey Barton was extreme. I mean, he didn't post anything that I think could even be considered illegal. Be offended, sure. I mean, that is, I thought, our right to free speech. And that judge in Liverpool sitting there today, acting as if the bloke's an axe murderer. I have no trust in the judicial system.
Well, sadly, neither do I anymore. I mean, it's almost like sometimes I feel I'm sitting outside the whole thing, watching it play out because it is so bad. We are all left absolutely speechless because it is so bad. And I wonder what it's going to take for many of us to say, hang on a minute, we've had enough now. And what will we do at that point? Because it literally is getting worse. Every week it seems to be getting worse and worse. I wouldn't mind, the police have got enough to do looking for proper criminals. But then when they find one, a paedophile, goes to court and, as you've rightly said, gets the same sort of sentence as somebody tweeting. I mean, I'm looking into paedophiles because that's what the rape gangs are. Let's face it, there are all these poor kids are underage. Everybody seems to be ignoring that because that's not important. Let's go and look for the people that say nasty things. And we should all accept that you're going to be offended at times. It's up to you if you take offence. People should be allowed to say what they think. And you can't incite violence, but you should be allowed to say something that other people would think offensive.
Totally.
I think we're going into a very, very serious situation.
Absolutely. And the thing is, Joey Barton did not incite violence. He did not do that. No. And so be offended. Be as offended as you like. But I would say to the people in the mainstream media who have sat back and seen this deep state persecution of Joey Barton and said nothing, in the same way they said nothing about Tommy Robinson, in the same way they said nothing about Katie Hopkins, and yes, I am looking at you at GB News and Talk TV, be afraid. Be very afraid, because it's Joey Barton today, it's you tomorrow. It's you tomorrow. Honestly, this is the path we're heading down.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.